Hey guys, welcome back. Part number 6 of my 48 scale Desert Babe build. So in this part, we're going to do the decals and then we're going to do the weathering. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, welcome back. And we're into decals and weathering on this video. So this is how we left it last time, looking very glossy. Has a clear coat put on, protected by paintwork. And just a quick recap, we can go with scheme A, which is Foxy Killer. This guy right here. For me, there's a lot of nice schemes in here, but this one had the most visual appeal. Has a shark's mouth, and it has some pin art. And yeah, so we're going with that one. So not much in the way of decals, because as I mentioned before earlier in this build, these were kind of rushed into theatre for a war. They weren't all the stencils or the walkways and stuff. They basically just went to local hardware store, well, or ordered from the manufacturer household paint, which is desert pink kind of color, and it's basically emulsion, or like, I guess you call it, like in America, I think you call it maybe like latex paint, like for your walls in your house. And they just basically just smashed it all over there, kind of like in World War II when they threw, like, you know, in the field, threw all this mottling and camo and stuff on. So they threw all the stuff on over the top of the, I think back then it was the wraparound camo scheme, and they basically threw it all this desert pink over it. And they, you know, because it's going to war, didn't have time to put all the caution labels and no steps and walkways, all that kind of stuff. I just had the basic squadron markings and some pin art and stuff. So that being said, all we have for decals, which is kind of nice, is this. So get a big sheet. I just cut off nicely. They kind of nicely grouped by the scheme. So I managed to cut off Foxy Killer, which are these ones right here. And here are the stencils. Again, very few, as you can see, which is good. This whole scheme kind of anchors off this centerpiece right here. This, as I look at it, the shark's mouth. This is the underside, and then from there, the sides come up, and then you have the pin art across. Oh, focus. Yeah, the mouth comes up, and it all kind of feeds off around that, and you have a couple of marks on the tail. So that being said, the only issue we have is this, as I look at it, kind of covers this area here where the gear door should be. So what I'm going to have to do is cut this decal off, kind of line it up, and then carefully cut out that section, because obviously we're going to have the gear door down. So I need to cut that section out, figure out where it is exactly, cut it out before I obviously wet the decal. And so we have that. So then this will conform around it, and then we can build the mouth and go from there. So I'm not going to show you how to put a decal down, because I say this many times, I don't have some 30 build videos where I go into detail. I need to keep repeating myself. But right now, I say I'm using Solvaset. That's my go-to solution for the last couple of builds. I've had some decal issues earlier this year with some other products, and switched to this and not having issues anymore. So I think it may be some bad products I was using. So Solvaset is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to lay these decals down. Again, just quick tips. Normally, I go through and mark the instructions with a highlighter as I put them down. This time around, there's not went out hundreds of stencils. There's only a few. And also work at one area at a time. What I mean by that is I'm not going to start working all around the aircraft, because then I'm going to pick it up and my finger's going to pull a decal off. So I'm going to work one area, say the front here, let it all completely dry, then move to the wing. Once that's all dry, move to the tail, and so on. So, you know, a few hours between each, take my time, a few hours between each one, let it dry. So I'm not going to rip off decals with my finger by accidentally touching it. That is about it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these decals, well, start putting these decals on, and I'll check back in and show you kind of my progress. Okay, so quick pause here. When you're working with some decals and you have multiple ones making up like a particular image, like the shark's mouth, it's like a puzzle trying to figure this out. And you kind of want to figure this out before you activate these in water, so you have time, you know, well, to think about it and make sure you're doing it accurately, right? So upon reviewing this one here marries up with the panel lines around this. And forget, I know I put the wrong part in there, forget that, that should be the cannon on this side. But this panel line here, this fits around it. So that's your starting point, I think. So I use that as my first decal, and I'm letting that dry first, so again, don't knock it or make any mistakes. And then this one will come on around it, like so. And that being said, it looks like the way this fits, it will fit flush against that line there, against the wheel bay. So I'm gonna let this one dry. So again, that's my first one because I use those pound lines. It's kind of cut out around that cannon here. Then I'm gonna put the bottom one on and then do this side. So that's my game plan at least. Again, just put it on about 10 minutes ago. I want to make sure it's fully stuck. So I'm not going to manipulate it, move it around, or pull it off my finger, or break it, or rip it, or anything like that. So that's a pretty important decal. So let it fully dry, and I'm going to put the bottom one on and kind of work my way round from there. But like I said, I just wanted to kind of stop there and just show you my thought process and how I'm kind of tackling it in the best way I thought I could do it. Okay, so got the mouth on. Still need to put some setting solution on. But yeah, no problem at all. And it does actually fit perfectly over there. And these two little pieces of mouth you have left, which is for 16, 17, they go on the gear doors each side. So I need to put that somewhere safe. Also, just a quick note, it's really hard to see, but there's white decals on here as well. If I hold it to the light, you may not even see it. There's some numbers here and the letters there. Be careful when you cut these out because I almost cut straight through them. But again, if you hold to the light, you can just barely see the white decals mixed in. So yeah, looking good. So I'm just going to go ahead and setting solution, get it all bedded down, and then work my way around the rest of the fuselage. The decals are all on, and give you a quick look around. Not too much going on this at all, which is nice if you don't like stencils, like me. And the other side. And that is pretty much it. There's one on the underside, one on the top surface, and just the side stuff going on. So let them all dry for a few hours, and then last night I sprayed a satin coat, acrylic satin, and actually went pretty thick as you can see. But anyway, left it overnight to dry, and now we can add a panel line wash. So basically going to use, as always, the Flory Models Dark Dirt Wash. And decant it into one of these little cups, plastic cups, and with a brush, I'm just going to brush it on. And you see it's a little watery because this is way at the end of the bottle. I just finished the bottle actually, and it gets a little thick and gloopy at the very end. Once you've opened it for a few years, so just watered it down, and also it comes off a little easier too when it's, so you can add a little bit of tap water to it just to thin it down a little bit if you wish. So I'm just going to basically rub this stuff all over, and beauty of this Revell kit, one of the good points is the surface detail. It does have a really nice surface detail. So hopefully when we wipe this off in 20 minutes, it will reveal some really nice detail on here. So just need to do a little bit of time, you don't go too crazy. Just do it section at a time. And there we go, simple as that. So I'm just waiting to stabilize this too. There's a lot of detail in here. Make sure I pick out all those pound lines and just smear it all over. Simples. And there we go. Cool. So I'm going to let that dry for 20 to 30 minutes and come back and we'll wipe it off. It's been 25, 30 minutes and this stuff is dry, as I can see. It's not coming off on my finger. So simple bit of kitchen roll. Lick it. A little bit of moisture helps to remove it. And simply just going to rub it off and not break the parts off. This is exactly the reason why don't put like these like little antennas and photo etch and stuff on, because it can break super easily off. So can carefully just rubbing this stuff off. And easy as that. And if you compare the side we did to the side we didn't do, you can see there's quite a big difference there. So those guys are done. Moving on here again, we'll be very careful. Don't break anything off the fuselage. Again, licking it a little bit more. And now it's darkening up too. So I've added extra white to the paint to make it really pale. But you can see why now, because Be careful of these little parts here. You can see, because this adds like, a shade darker. And there we go. Looking good. And this is where this Revell kit comes into own. The detail and the fit issues and the molding is crap, but the surface detail is really nice on this kit. And there we go. That side is done. And again, you can see all the rivets, all the power lines, whereas on the underside, you just see nothing, right? Because you haven't done that yet. Whereas that just makes it stand out. And using the satin is really a sweet spot. Gloss, I find sometimes it just comes off way too easy. It doesn't really stick in the power lines very well. Matte, if you want something, like armor, if you want something a little bit dingier, then matte does, a pretty good job. But satin really does, I think, works well with this for aircraft like this. And if you've got to get inside certain areas, you can use a Q-tip. Just same thing, just lick it and rub it in there. And there we go. Simple, right? So I'm just going to work my way to remove all this and then do the sides and the underside, and we can see how it looks when we're done. All right, as you can see, we took away the shine because we wiped off all the wash and gave it a final clear coat of matte. That's the one I've used. And if I turn the light off, natural light, you can see, well, the sun's shining right in now, but it looks the business. So last step, weathering. As always, we're going to do some neat oils. Now, I've kind of gone ahead and did the fuel tanks already. We'll do this in a separate video, but you can see this light's terrible right now. The sun's shining in. Grind them up a little bit. Do the stabilizers again. Hopefully, you can see the effect we've got there. And we're going to do the same thing on the fuselage. So as I walk around the camera, we have a Starship Filth Abteilung oils. And I've simply just put some in this little bit plastic tray. Got one of these micro brushes. They're like you get hundreds on like AliExpress or Temu. They're for like putting on, I think, like fake eyelashes maybe, but super cheap and they're good for like little touch-up work, painting and stuff. One and done deals. And actually, this is my go-to now for applying the oil. So I did add one tiny fraction of a drop of enamel thinners just to kind of wet my oil a little bit, very slightly, because it's very dry. So again, you're talking about a fraction of a milliliter on there, and just mixed it up. So that's kind of the consistency I have. Done this many times before, but we'll go through a couple on camera. Let me kind of angle it so you can see better. I'm just going to basically use a dotting technique. And I'm just going to pick out certain power lines. It's completely random here. Okay, so like so, and I'm worried maybe I put too much on, but let's see. And then with this brush here, I'm just going to basically blend it. Okay, this looks like a real dog's breakfast now. This is way too much oil. So let me... This is not the effect I want to do at all. So here you go, live. Messed it up. So simple, when you mess it up, just come with some... Oh, don't want to break the aircraft. Come with some enamel thinners. And drop enamel thinners and a Q-tip. And you can see it wipes pretty much right away. This is not how you want to do it at all, so I'm not sure what I've done here, but you want to be a little bit more delicate with the paint. I put way too much on here, and just, yeah, oversaturated it. So fortunately, like I showed you here, you can just pull this right off and you can go again. So yeah, you like my editing, I'll show all my mistakes, and yeah, that was way too much. So I put it down because it's a light color as well, so you don't need much paint here at all. So let's go again, this time hopefully a more of a strained amount. There you go, see, a little bit lighter. Okay, I'm just gonna do like this. this paint's a little bit darker side for this scheme maybe, but we'll do a few more subtle panels here just to see how it look. Again, don't want to go too crazy with the paint. And you can see we've got it a little bit like that. And I'm just going to pick certain areas out and just basically this effect. Create that kind of oiling. Now again, still way too much oil for my liking. I'm going to take some more off this. You just need this color, light color, just needs such a tiny little amount. So I'm kind of messing this up a little bit. So let me turn the camera off, do it off camera, which I can do better, and come back and show you the final result. All right, so spent 20 minutes there just fixing it. I was way too heavy-handed, way too much oil. With this light color, just tiny little bit. So I went through certain areas, and you can see how we're looking now. This isn't the best light right now because well, let me close my blind, maybe make it better. Sun shining through the afternoon sun. There we go. A little bit around the front here, the tail, and the top. And that's that side too, as you can see. So just kind of using the oils, kind of to use for the weathering, and much less than I started with. So there you go. Saw my errors on my ways. So kind of liking how it's looking out. I don't go too far over the top. I'm just gonna let this dry overnight, and I think we're good to go. So yeah, wrap this video up. Next time round, we're gonna add well, finishing touches. We add the ordnance to the bottom. We add the build. I haven't even started the gear yet. So start the gear, put the gear on, and get the exhaust on, and get this thing finished. So next week or the week after, should I say? Because I think every 2 weeks now I'm doing these videos. We'll do the final reveal. So final touches, final reveal next time. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. Really helps my channel out. And I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.